Are jersey leaks a good thing?
Ooh.
No, I
I
used to
say
think they
no.
were. I used to think they were. I used to really like, and I used to like the idea of, and there was a couple times that I don't remember what jerseys now, but there were a couple jerseys that we broke, kind of leaked
We leaked the
on
Leafs
hockey
Stadium
jerseys or
series.
yeah. Yeah, I remember there was one I found on Reddit too, and it got a lot of views, and at the time I was like, this is so cool. And like now that I've grown up a little bit and I guess I interact with more people in the design space, like I think storytelling is so important when it comes to jerseys. And I think having the right
Not even
context
just,
for it.
well, I guess the question is jerseys, but not even just jerseys, but entire brand.
Entire, yeah, that's fair. Like I think
Right.
like you see with the Washington Commanders, like people form their opinion based on a screenshot of a grainy logo.
Yeah.
Noted, I don't buy into their storytelling even now, but obviously this question is coming up with regards to the upcoming reverse retros and the rumors that are coming out. And I think even then, that's a lot less storytelling. It's just this is the jersey. I think it's just not fun for like me as a like hockey jersey enjoyer. Like I like the intrigue of like what's going to happen, what could they come out with versus it's like, hey, here 8 months in advance, team X is doing this. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like great.
Like,
I can envision how
So
like, and it's like, oh, cool. Now I can get an exact mock-up concept and be like, "Ha, I told you so," based on the things that I was
so
told. Based on like, it's
here
like I like doing the kind of like I remember going back to, the 2020 Winter Classic concept I did based on the rumors that there'd be like that the Stars like trademarked the Dallas Texans logo and because of that, there were rumors about the Predators doing a Dixie Flyers thing, and then I put together a concept that ended up being probably about
90%
90,
accurate.
yeah, I was going to say 90% accurate to what they came up with. And then, since it was in Dallas and that's where I grew up, I got to go to that game. So that whole thing and like owning that jersey and going to that game and, more or less seeing a jersey I put together on the ice, like is just a super like cool core memory for me that I'll never forget. And I think like getting, had I known exactly, like had someone like said this is exactly what the Stars are doing, I would have been like, oh, that's a cool jersey and moved on.
So
Versus like, oh, I envisioned what this could be, and it ended up being, fairly close. Noted, I did have some knowledge or some rumor of what it was like. Oh, here's the logo that the Stars are copywriting for some purpose. Like it wasn't like, oh, the Stars will be doing a Dallas Texans jersey based on this design for this game that's in 8 months. Like I think if you
so
come out and tell me right now, oh, the Bruins are doing the Pooh Bear, the Islanders are doing the Fisherman, like that's a lot less exciting than like
right.
seeing Adidas pull out that video and saying, "Oh my gosh, it's the Fisherman." I haven't seen him for 20 years, kind of thing.
Here's my take on it is that I think because with us hockey fans, we don't get as many new uniforms or whatnot as often. So when there's a rumor about it, usually people want to leak it because they want to know everything right away. And in today's world,
Mhm.
you want the information right away. So I understand that. Whereas, like, I'm a soccer fan, and I've noticed it's really hard to get details upon soccer jerseys. Like, I know some places do leak potential ones because they have contacts within the retail space. Or they'll say, this is what it looks like, this is what it could look like. Like, for instance, Charlotte FC, their away jersey was leaked, but it's a terrible picture. It looks like a plain black jersey, but it's
Mhm.
supposed to be green. And uh, I, I think it has to do with your type of fan base. But overall, I think that teams who don't prepare for something to potentially be leaked that's a foolish thing because with
In this
today's
day, yeah,
society and how fast things are, you got to be prepared for that. But if you're trying to sell a story, you want to do everything in your power to
right. And I
make
think of
sure.
like how excited I was for the expansion draft this year.
Right.
Like, oh, Seattle, they're gonna
Yeah.
do a lot of cool stuff. And then like the day before, like it was like, I
It
mean,
was all
shame like
leaked.
to some extent, like shame on the reporters for leaking. Like it was like you completely taken all the wind out of the sails of like literally the first event of this friend. Like that just seemed like it just
And
That
like, I
was
don't blame the
that was
reporters for
greedy.
that because that's their
Greediness.
job.
Yeah.
fair.
No offense, but they they could have done a solid and could have said, you know what, let's wait until they
Right.
officially.
Like
Also fair, but I can't blame them still.
I
yeah. I
can't
mean,
blame
there
them either, but
there is ways, like, to be fair, like in the industry, like there are ways to, and I know this because my girlfriend is a TV news producer, but it's not uncommon for organizations to give the news station, obviously sports reporters who work, for ESPN and stuff is probably a different thing, but in the reporting space, it's not uncommon for, outlets for sorry organizations to give outlets information ahead of time with the understanding that, hey, we're going to give you this, that way you have a story ready to run, right when it comes out, so we can do the announcement at 12 and you can get it at 12:01. And maybe, you know what, maybe it's on Seattle for not doing the due diligence to say, here's the information, sit on this, instead of saying, oh, we're not going to tell everyone. And then it's like, well, I saw that they filmed, this over here with
I'm
this pick kind of
thinking.
thing.
I wonder though, was it the other teams that gave out the information, and that's why?
Knows.
Yeah,
But
not really sure, but back to the actual question. I want to give my answer, and I think
No, you can do that.
I think rumors and speculation are fun. Like, if there's a
Yeah.
rumor, the Islanders are going to do a Fisherman alternate jersey. It leads to so many concepts and so much speculation on what are they going to do with it. It's a little bit different if it's reverse retro because how many options do you have? But
Right.
if it's just like, a regular old jersey or regular alternate, it's fun. It gets the, gears turning. It gets us talking. That part's fun. But everything like the full design being leaked or the
Yeah, like the
full idea
Sabres thing.
being leaked, yeah, that not so much. For one, because again, it just takes some of the fun out of it, getting to speculate on it. But for two, again, being behind the scenes, you know me doing work with the PHF, we were part of a leak whenever we unveiled the PHF branding.
Yeah.
Lucas and I worked on the unveiling for it. We didn't do the logo and the brand itself, but we worked on unveiling it. And the night before, the logo leaks and the name leaks and everything like that. And again, I do not blame the person who reported that because it's kind of your job. But it was also the wrong logo. It's the version. So we have the main logo, which is the PHF and the crown, but we also have the one that has a larger black crown outline around it, and then a
Hmm.
larger like leaf for the the Canadian version that are on the jerseys, kind of like
Right. It was like the patch
on
logo.
yours one, yeah, where
Yeah.
the NHL logo goes. It's kind of like that for us. And that was the version that leaked, and of course, at that point, everybody thinks that that's the primary logo and is talking about that, how they think about it. The next day, it's like, nope, it's a part of the logo set, but it's not the
Hmm.
logo. So, just knowing the design teams and, creative teams behind the scenes putting in all of the work behind these unveilings just to have them,
and
spoiled.
the
Well, even
and
if
the
it's
other
the same design, you at least have your narrative spoiled and everything like that.
Right.
So,
but
however you want to spin it.
you also got to take into effect that like if the spoiler themselves, like I remember, was it 2 years ago, Aesthetics did a mock-up of what the Winter Classic for the Blackhawks and Blues was going to be, and he said it was fairly accurate from his source, and I have to wonder like what happened to his source that told him this in confidence, and he went and told it. Like, did he lose that source? Is what I'm
Right.
wondering, or did he lose his credibility? Because leaking can go both ways. You can lose the ability to speak to someone
Right.
from that.
Right. And
That's like,
I
Which,
feel like for
like,
me,
let's be real here. In the position I've been, I've seen the PHF branding before it was unveiled. I worked on the Toronto Six jersey, so I've seen that before they were unveiled. And of course, it would be fun for jersey nerds to be the first ones to report that. But aside from the fact that it's a
your
little bit
job is
that
go.
it's not a little bit, it's very unethical for me to have done that. It's going to burn a lot of bridges for where I'm
Yeah.
going in
Like
my
for me, I feel
career.
like if you have inside knowledge and you've got your inside knowledge, like I feel like, something like if I knew something, like I might be comfortable telling like you guys, like
I
privately.
didn't even tell you guys privately
Yeah.
too.
Even then, but it's like if I had inside knowledge on an NHL jersey that I'm not like, I'm not directly, like if I was directly working
you're
on
not
something, I would
privileged to it.
share.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I had some friend who suddenly started working for, the Penguins, and I got some inside scoop, I know you guys would be interested. I'd be, I could see myself talking to you guys behind closed doors about it, but I wouldn't come on here. and say it. And not saying everyone has to operate on that, but kind of like you were saying, Brendan, like I feel like there's kind of a line between here's the design and here's a picture of it versus like, hey, I'm hearing that the Stars are going to do a black reverse retro because that's cool. Like that,
The Penguins are going to do a
Like,
yellow alternate
yeah.
jersey.
yeah, like
Like
it
they're going to
informs
have the
content,
script on the
but it's
jersey.
not just
Like
like here is the literal thing.
yeah, or like a
But
little snippet of it, basically.
and leaks are never like the leak of a thing on a hanger, a Fanatics version or whatever is never going to look as good as a on even in the Olympic jerseys. Like I've formed different opinions from even from the official unveil to seeing them on the ice. Like it's how you present things are really important, and we all have interacted with graphic design enough to know, that that's something that takes a lot of work. So I think it frustrates me when that work, is devalued because people have already formed their opinions because it's a lot harder to, you know, change someone's opinion than to form an initial opinion. So if they see some
I
dinky
think
view of something, it's going to be a lot harder to get them to like something that they might have even liked otherwise because they have to overcome that initial like, oh, that looks like crap when it's all folded up and in a bag at a checkout of a Nike
Yeah,
outlet in the middle of
and
Montana. Like,
I,
like let's even
I,
compare to somebody's in a retail store and they see something, they take a photo of it in bad lighting versus behind me, behind my green screen, I have a mannequin set up with a jersey on it, and I've got what's it called, a softbox next to me here that I'm using for podcast lighting, but I got a set of them to take photos of my jersey collection because it's going to
right,
look good that way. And even then, my production value is going to be,
is
half of
nothing
what an
like a
actual jersey unveil
professional
would be,
team. Yeah.
because
right.
I'm not doing it for that reason either. I'm doing it for archival purposes, not, you know,
I forgot. I
show
forgot
off
who it was.
purposes.
I forgot who it was, but going back to the Commanders unveiling and everything, I can't remember if it might have been Be More Creative or Brian Gundell, who stated that they don't normally give critiques because like them as designers, like the thing is that in certain cases, they're just hired to design what someone wants, whether it's good or not. So the fact that a leaker basically says this is what the product is going to be, you worked hard on that as a designer. It is kind of low for someone else to do it prematurely, and I understand why they want to do that prematurely is because they want to get the news out. They want everyone to get excited. The other thing with that is though that sometimes you just gotta sit back and you gotta wonder, is it right to tell what's going on? Like back when we had the old podcast, we were privileged some information from one of our guys because he worked for the company that was producing jerseys for the ECHL. None of us told anything that was going on with it. We got to see some things that are obviously out there now, such as the Atlanta Gladiators switching colors to the Thrashers colors. And it was nice, but we were put under the premise that we couldn't reveal it, and we
Mm-hmm.
respected that. I feel
And I
like
guarantee that if one of us, put that out there, he's not sending that stuff to us
Yeah.
anymore. He
He's
no,
would have had to
he's
trust
not
us.
going back into the office either.
Yeah, that
no, he's
too.
not going back. Yeah, that would have cost him his job. So, point being is that I guess my wording is if you're given privileged information, be careful about what you do with it or who you say it to because
It is
you never know.
tells you
That
you can
person might not have the same standards as you.
The
right.
safest route is to just not tell anybody. I mean,
Yep.
I think the only person that would on my end who would have seen the PHF stuff before it was unveiled was, Kelsey, live studio audience, because
Right.
I
Because you're
they were
working.
in the room when I was working on some of the stuff, and of course,
Right.
we're 2 years into a relationship. I have absolutely, the most trust in them. So even if they're
Right.
kind of in these circles, like I know that they're not going to say anything to anybody.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Right.
and the T6, probably would have been the same, but it was quarantine and COVID, so I don't think
Yeah.
anybody was with me. So
Fair. Fair.